Let me ask you a hard question. If she walked away tomorrow, would you know why? Most men think it's because of money, looks, or status, but that's not the truth. What if I told you women are not leaving because you're not rich enough, but because you're not present enough? Relationship therapist Esther PEREL has spent decades decoding modern love. What she's discovered is shocking. Women don't want everything. They want 5 specific things, and if you miss even one, she starts to emotionally detach without ever saying a word. So if you're tired of being confused, ghosted, or constantly wondering what went wrong, stay with me. This could change how you see every woman in your life. The hidden language of female desire. We live in a time where dating apps, filters, and fast conversations give us access to more people, but fewer real connections. Men are told to be nice and be confident or be alpha, yet no one explains what actually makes a woman stay. Esther Perel's work reveals something deeper. Women aren't looking for perfection. They're craving connection. But not just emotional talk or romantic words. They want to feel something real. They want to feel seen, safe, and desired. So let's break it down. The first thing women want from men is emotional safety. And no, this doesn't mean tiptoeing around her feelings. Emotional safety is about being her anchor, not her fixer. It's about being the one place where she can remove her emotional armor, in a world where she has to stay strong for everyone, at work, at home, even on social media. What she's dying for is a moment where she can just breathe. And that happens when a man is present, not just physically, but emotionally tuned in. When you're not distracted by your phone, not giving half replies, not rushing to fix her pain but sitting with her in it. That's safety. And that's what keeps her heart open. The second thing women crave: admiration. Not just compliments on how she looks, but admiration for who she is. The way she solves problems, the way she handles pressure, the way she nurtures the people around her. Most men think women need reassurance because they're insecure. That's false. What they want is recognition. A man who sees her essence, not just her beauty. Esther PEREL says women want to be seen in their complexity, not boxed into one role. She's not just the girlfriend or the wife. She's a storm of passion, softness, ambition, fear, and creativity. When you acknowledge all those sides, not just tolerate them, you become the rare man who understands her depth. Third, a sense of aliveness. Here's the truth. Women don't leave when they're unhappy. They leave when they go numb. And nothing kills aliveness faster than routine. Esther says love dies in the space between predictability and neglect. So what keeps it alive? Playfulness, spontaneity, mystery. The small text she didn't expect. The random drive with no destination. The way you still look at her like she's brand new even after years. It's not about fireworks all the time, it's about energy. And when you bring energy into the ordinary, that's when she starts to feel alive again, with you. The fourth thing is intellectual and emotional stimulation. Don't confuse this with being smart. It's about being curious. About her. About life. About yourself. A man who stops learning, who stops asking questions, becomes predictable, and predictable equals boring. PEREL teaches that desire is fueled by uncertainty, not insecurity, but a sense that there's still something left to discover. When you have new thoughts, new ideas, when you challenge her mind, when you make her think, reflect, and grow, she connects with you in ways she can't even explain. It becomes magnetic. And finally, the fifth desire is a man who lives in balance. The duality, the paradox. A man who can be soft and strong, protective and playful, stoic and expressive. Women don't want dominance, they want depth. They want to know that you can lead without controlling, that you can protect without possessing. Esther PEREL calls this emotional fluency. A man who knows who he is and still chooses to evolve. That's rare, and it's irresistible. Now here's the twist. Most men think they're doing all the right things, but they're missing one critical layer that unlocks long-term intimacy. In part 2, I'm going to show you the silent mistake men make that turns connection into distance and how to flip it before it's too late. This is the part most men never hear about. But if you want to become unforgettable, not just desirable, don't miss what's next. Part 2, the silent mistakes that push women away and how to fix them. You want to know the real reason why she pulled away, stopped texting back, or said she needed space. It's not because she stopped loving you. It's not because someone else came along. It's because she started feeling alone, even while you were still right next to her. Esther Perel explains it like this. Women leave emotionally before they ever leave physically, and when emotional needs go unnoticed, unmet, or dismissed, the distance grows silently. So what are the silent mistakes men make without even knowing? The first one is thinking she's too emotional. Listen closely. If a woman shares how she feels, even if it's uncomfortable or intense, it's not an attack. It's a test of safety. She's not looking for a solution. She's testing to see, can you hold me in this space? Can you stay calm when I'm unraveling? Or will you get defensive, shut down, change the subject? When a man says, you're overreacting, what she hears is, you're too much for me. And the moment she feels like a burden instead of a blessing, she stops sharing. That's when the silence begins. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to listen like it matters, because it does. The second silent mistake, chasing peace instead of connection. A lot of men confuse the absence of conflict with the presence of love. We don't fight, so things must be good, right? Wrong. Women don't want a man who avoids conflict. They want a man who can handle it. She wants to feel like you'll stay even when it's uncomfortable. Conflict isn't what ruins relationships. Avoiding hard conversations does. Esther Perel says couples who thrive don't avoid tension. They move through it together. When you're willing to face the mess gently, without ego, she'll trust you more than any sweet word you've ever said. Third mistake, losing your edge. This one hits hard. A lot of men, once they're in the relationship, stop doing the things that attracted her in the first place. You stop leading. You stop flirting. You stop surprising her. You trade passion for predictability, and she doesn't leave because you're not trying, and she leaves because it starts to feel like you've already checked out. Women want to be pursued continuously, not just at the beginning. The texts, the touch, the teasing. When you stop chasing her heart, someone else, or even worse, her own silence will. Now here's where it gets deep. One of the biggest unspoken needs women have is to feel understood, without having to explain. That's not easy, but it's powerful. When a man learns to read her emotional climate, to see when her energy shifts, to notice the difference between her being tired and her being distant, that's when she starts to feel safe. Esther Perel calls this emotional literacy. You don't have to be a therapist. You just have to notice. Most men are watching the movie of their relationship, but women are listening to the music underneath. Learn her emotional. Part 3. How to become the man she never forgets. Integration and embodiment. Every woman remembers the man who saw her, not just her beauty, not just her body, but her being. The man who didn't just show up on the first date, but continued showing up, even after the honeymoon phase faded. Most men impress her for a moment. Very few impact her for a lifetime. And in this final part, you're going to learn how to become that man. The man who doesn't just keep her attention but earns her trust, her desire, and her soul over and over again. This isn't about tricks. It's not about chasing. It's about embodiment. Becoming the kind of man who naturally creates a space where love, depth, and desire can thrive without force. 1. Live with presence, not performance. Esther Perel says that the greatest aphrodisiac is attention. Not fake flattery, not grand gestures. Real focused, grounded attention. That means when she talks, you don't just hear her, you feel her. You're not waiting for your turn to speak. You're absorbing her words, her tone, her emotions. You become a mirror to her truth. So many men get stuck trying to perform masculinity, being stoic, silent, or overly dominant. But the man she remembers isn't performing anything. He's present. He's not trying to impress, he's trying to connect. He's fully there in the conversation, in the silence, in the kiss, in the way he holds her hand. That level of presence makes a woman feel like the world disappears when she's with you. That's not weak, that's magnetic. 2. Rekindle the fire with curiosity. Relationships die when curiosity dies. You want to keep a woman? Keep learning her. Don't assume you know who she is just because you've been together for years. Ask deeper questions. Study her moods. Notice her evolving dreams. Esther Perel calls this the mystery inside the familiar. You might sleep next to her every night, but that doesn't mean you know everything about her. She's not static. She's becoming someone new all the time. And the man who stays curious is the one she keeps opening up to. Want her to stay emotionally connected? Don't just ask, how was your day? Ask, what's been on your heart lately? Ask, what's something you've been craving but haven't said out loud? Explore her not like a checklist, but like a beautiful changing landscape. That curiosity shows care, and care makes her stay. 3. Be the calm in her storm. Life is chaotic. Work, family, social pressure, it's a storm. What women desire, often silently, is a man who can be their anchor. Not the loudest in the room, not the smartest, the calmest. The one who can look into her eyes when she's overwhelmed and say, I've got you. Not with words, but with energy, with stillness, with groundedness. This doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being emotionally regulated. You can feel deeply, but you don't react destructively. You don't shut down. You don't lash out, you stay. In conflict, in tension. In disappointment, you remain present, thoughtful, steady. PEREL says the modern man must be both sensitive and strong, not one or the other. When she feels your calm, especially. When she's in chaos, she'll lean in closer every time. 4. Lead with vision, not control. Women aren't looking for control. They're drawn to direction. Not the kind that dominates her life, but the kind that shows you know where you're going. You have values, a purpose, a mission, something that gives your life weight, structure, meaning. Because when a man moves through the world with intention, he becomes magnetic. Esther Perel explains that modern women don't want men who control, they want men who inspire, men who walk their talk, who stand for something, who don't get lost in aimlessness. When you live with clarity, you give her confidence that you can build together, that you're not floating, you're leading. Not by force, by example. That's where trust is born. That's where attraction lasts. 5. Feed the relationship with polarity. Comfort is beautiful, but too much comfort kills desire. Passion needs polarity, that dynamic energy where you feel alive together, not just safe. Esther Perel says relationships die not from a lack of love, but from a lack of energy. That energy isn't something you force, it's something you create. It's in the way you look at her when she's not watching, the way you touch her when she's least expecting it, the way you surprise her with a plan, a glance, a bold move. She wants to feel like you still want her, not just love her. And that starts when you reconnect with your own masculine energy, not as domination, but as direction, assertiveness, playfulness, creativity. Be the man who brings tension, the good kind, the kind that makes her heart beat faster, who reminds her, yes, we've built a life, but I still want your soul, your fire, your spark. That's the man who becomes unforgettable. 6. Protect her freedom while holding her close. One of the most misunderstood needs of women is their desire for freedom. She wants closeness, yes, but not control. Esther Perel teaches that love and freedom are not enemies. In fact, true desire grows when we're allowed to breathe. The evolved man doesn't cage her. He doesn't cling. He doesn't need to track her every move to feel secure. He trusts himself, and because of that, she trusts him back. He celebrates her independence. He supports her goals. He doesn't feel threatened by her ambition, and yet he still chooses to pursue her. That duality, freedom and pursuit, is the magic formula. When she feels both free and desired, she blooms. She gives more, loves deeper, stays longer. That's the space only a high value man can hold, and that's who you are becoming. 7. Keep choosing her, especially in the ordinary. Want to know the secret to long-lasting intimacy? Choosing her again, not once, not twice, daily in the small moments. When she's quiet, when she's moody, when she's distracted. Choose her. Through presence, through play, through affection. Don't wait for a special occasion. Make her feel special when nothing's happening. Esther Perel says passion isn't lost, it's just buried under routine. So reignite it. With humor, with unpredictability, with physical touch, with attention. When you choose her in the ordinary, she gives you extraordinary love in return. She won't say it out loud, but she notices every moment you show up. Every moment you make her feel like the center of your world, even just for a minute. So let me leave you with this. The man she remembers forever isn't always the richest, or the best looking, or even the smartest. He's the man who made her feel seen, safe, desired, and alive. He's the man who didn't need to be perfect, but chose to be present. The one who listened deeper, touched slower, led wiser, loved bolder. Esther Perel teaches us that modern love isn't just about compatibility. It's about consciousness. And now you have the tools to embody that. To become the man who doesn't just win her heart, but who keeps awakening it every single day. Because when you become that kind of man, She won't just love you. She'll never forget you.